Welcome to the channel. This is the new Tiguan, and this is all new, built on a new platform, the MQB Evo platform, with a new infotainment system on the MIB4 infotainment system. That's not the fourth Men in Black movie. That's what runs the infotainment in this car. And this is available as a mild hybrid and as a full hybrid with up to 70 miles roughly of electric only range, which means you could drive it around if you live within 70 miles of your home and never even use the engine on this car. That's just mind-boggling. Let's start with the front, because the front is different in the sense that it's much more aerodynamic. It now has a drag coefficient of 0.28 CD, which means it's much more slippery, which means it's more efficient, and which means that when you get to the fully hybrid version, that is one of the reasons why you get such amazing electric only range. This car I'm standing next to is a 48 volt mild hybrid, which means that instead of an alternator, there's no alternator. Now we use a 48 volt lithium ion battery and a 48 volt starter motor to make the car more efficient, and also to fill in the torque gap at the lower RPM. So the motor provides torque, so the car has more oomph when you put your foot down before the engine revs higher. Let's talk powertrain. So there are actually 6 different powertrains here, which is pretty confusing when you're trying to remember them like I am now. So we've got a 1.5 litre, 130 and 150 PS. These are mild hybrids like this car. And then we have a 2 litre TDI, which is 150 horsepower PS. And then we have a 2 litre petrol version, which has 204 PS. And then we have a more high performance version, which has 265 PS, and then we have the full hybrid version, which, as well as an electric motor, has 272 PS of power. Hope I got that right. Have a look on the screen and see if I remembered correctly. Whatever I did or didn't remember correctly, there's a lot of choice on this range of cars, and with the mild hybrid and the full hybrid versions, I think I would go for the full hybrid version. Now, don't get me wrong, the full hybrid version is going to be more expensive, but I think having that electric only range means you get the best of an EV and the best of a conventional ICE engine. And why wouldn't you want that? I think if you're going to spend the money on a new car, then go for the one which gives you the most future-proof, is my personal opinion. The Tiguan is VW's mid-size SUV. We've got the Touareg at the top, and then we've got others like the T-Cross. You can see my reviews for both of those cars on the channel, so check those out. But just because it's the middle of the range doesn't mean it's the middle of everything in terms of what it gets, because this car is the latest from Volkswagen. It surpasses the Touareg, in my opinion, with all the technology and the cool stuff it has. Built on the new MQB Evo platform, which is going to produce all of the latest cars coming from VW. It's got a lot of space and a lot of technology in it. So let's check out how much space there is. You can see, again, lots of room. I'm 1.78 meters. I've got a load of head space, a load of knee space. Very comfortable, very spacious. We've got 2 pockets on here for your phone, 2 pockets on the other side for your phone. There's 2 wireless chargers in the front there, and we've got a normal pocket. We've got 2 USB Type-Cs, and we can bring these down. We've got our cup holder here, which will let me take out the cups. That was kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. And then we can, of course, rest our arm on here very comfortably. I don't have a pass-through on this car, unfortunately, but hey, we've got cool little tabs you can pull on. Talking about cool little tabs you can pull on, let me show you something which I think is really cool. Now, have you ever got in a car, tried to put the seats back, and you had to fiddle around with a little lever on the side of the car to do it? Well, not on the Tiguan. You just pull this little tab here, and the car comes down with the seats. And when you put it up, if it locks in place like that, you just pull the tab again, and it goes back flat, or back to its original position. So this little tab is really good, and I don't know why every car doesn't have it. It's such a little thing. You might think that replacing an actual button switch for a tab that you pull on is not the way to go, but I think it's clear that it is. Maybe that's why Porsche have replaced all their door handles with little tags you pull on, maybe. Anyway, that is a very cool feature that I like. Little but cool. Just like every car, the Tiguan has got bigger. It's actually got bigger by 3 centimeters. So that's not a lot, but it does make a big difference in the back here. It means the space in the back is increased to 652 liters, which is a lot of space, which means that when you put the back seats down, which you can do from here, you then have plenty of room to do whatever you want, and you can adjust the floor of the car like this. And now you have a totally flat area where you can put stuff through in the car and have lots of luggage space. So that's pretty handy that they've done that. On the exterior, we don't have an electric tailgate because this is the base model, but the other models do. We've got the same light bar, the big VW logo, and Tiguan in big letters at the bottom, just in case you're not sure which of VW's SUVs this is. I'll be honest, I keep getting confused between Tiguan and Touareg. I keep saying it. For me, they sound so similar that half the mistakes in this video are me calling this car the wrong car. However, this is definitely more memorable to me than the other one. Welcome inside the first ChatGPT enabled car. This is the VW Tiguan. It's also available on the VW Passat, and any VW car which has the MIB4 operating system or later. I've made this joke already, but MIB4 is not Men in Black 4. It is what is running on this display in this car. Now, this right now is available as 12 or 15 inches, depending on what spec you want to go for. We've got a 12-inch digital driver's display as well, which you can see is very clear and very nice. We've got 2 wireless charging trays, which is really good, plus 2 USB Type-Cs. And I love that there's a little tray here, which you can put down. So then you still have space above your phones to put stuff. I really like that. That's attention to detail, which I like. And then we have something very, very cool, which I love, this down here. This is a driving experience knob, switch, whatever you want to call it. And what's great about this is, just like the mode selectors on AMG Mercedes, it has multiple functions. How does this work? Well, it's very simple. You press down on it to go between the modes, whether it's volume, or which way you can turn it up and down just like a normal volume switch, or you can press it again and go to your driving modes, and I can turn the knob to go between the modes, or I can swipe it to go into atmospheres, and atmospheres allow me to change the ambient lighting and look of the car interior. So I can check lounge, and now everything goes purple like a lounge, because apparently lounges are all purple in Germany. And then we've got that color, and I really, really like this. So this is going to be part of the way that ChatGPT potentially works on this car. This knob will be very important to that. And I think screens which display information in the car, which are not one of these screens, but also a button, is the way to go. I think it gives you the best of both worlds. Buttons and screens is something which Mercedes have been doing for a while, and I'm really happy to see it on VW cars as well. Hopefully it will also come to other cars in the VW group too, but this is very, very cool. MIB4 is very, very effective and works well too. Let's look at the steering wheel. Steering wheel is really nice. They make the best steering wheels, I think, VW, and it's very premium feeling with a metal finish, even though it's partly plastic. And then the interior here, these are ambient lights, and these will change in the night to match the color of the mode that you have on here. Lovely, lovely interior, all the latest technology. What more could you want in this car? Now, here we are inside the new Tiguan. So this is the 48-volt mild hybrid version with a 1.5 litre engine with 130 horsepower. So not the fastest of the range, but it is a mild hybrid. So what does that mean? The benefits of mild hybrid are better economy, better efficiency, because the alternator is gone, and instead we have a 48-volt lithium-ion battery and a starter motor, which are able to keep the engine running around more efficiently, use less fuel, and also infill the torque, which is missing at the low RPMs. So in simple terms, it's a motor which gives you some extra power when the engine isn't making a lot of power itself. So you feel a bit more like you're in an EV and a bit less like you're in a traditional car. But don't worry, you have a set of options with this car. There are petrol, there are diesel, there are mild hybrid, and there is a performance version as well as one which I highly recommend, the full hybrid version. Now, admittedly, the full hybrid version will cost over £40,000, so it's not going to be cheap. But for the same price as, or slightly less than, a Tesla Model Y, you get an SUV which has around 70 miles of electric range. Now, that's pretty impressive. 70 miles of electric only range, which means you could drive to work and back if you live within 70 miles without ever having to use your petrol engine, which is amazing. You could, in theory, have that engine and never use it. And if you do use it, the fact that you've got the hybrid capability will give you more power and more torque. Now, of course, I'm talking about a car that I'm not driving right now, instead of about the car I actually am driving. And I have to be honest, when I put my foot down, that infill from that motor for 48 volts is pretty good. And I can feel that it gives me that power. I'm actually driving a sport mode now. We got our drive experience knob down here, which I know you can't see, but I showed you earlier, which allows me to change between my modes. So I could go right now into comfort mode, and in comfort mode, I'm coasting, so my MPG goes up. But then if I move it back into sport, immediately my gearbox changes into sport, and I get a bit more power and a bit more instant from it, which is really good to see. Talking about power, let's see how fast this car can go from 0 to 60 with a V-Bucks Performance Touch Pro. Okay, go. So we don't have launch control, but it definitely feels like it's got some oomph to it. I'm not gonna lie about that. And we're about to hit 60. There we go, 10.8 seconds. So it probably could go a bit faster, but for 130 horsepower, it's hard to complain. That's pretty good. And this is the entry level. We've got all this technology, the driver assistance technology. So yes, this car can basically drive itself. We've got our travel assist system, and the car will just do its own thing, steering and keeping me in my lane. And this car also has active lane change. So this car can actually change the lane itself. I can't show you down here because we're on a country road, but it will also change the lane itself. So it's got the latest technology. It's a convenient, comfortable SUV. Even though this is the middle of the VW SUV range, it's not the middle of their cars. This is the best SUV the VW currently make, and that might change with time. But right now, if you're after a mid-size SUV, then a Tiguan is a car that you should definitely check out. That is the all-new Tiguan. It's got the latest technology from its hybrid version, which has over 70 miles of range. For me, you can go to another city and back and maybe charge it like an EV, never use the engine, or if you live closer, you might never turn the engine on because you're always using it in its EV mode. It's got the new driver experience button in the middle, which is really cool, a little screen which lets you scroll between everything. It's got the MIB4 platform, which also will have ChatGPT, so you can talk to it. It's going to have AI, and then we've got an all-new infotainment system interior as well. So we've got everything in here that you could possibly want. This is a very, very big step up for the Tiguan, and actually, I think this is a sweet spot for the VW SUV lineup. Don't forget to check out my videos on the T-Cross and on the new Passat, which is estate only and has lots of the same technology as this car. Please give this video a like and subscribe to more on the channel, and thanks for watching.